The college football playoff is set. The committee has made their decision, but as always, there's a ton of discussion about if the right teams have been selected for the playoff games. So let's talk some college football with New York Post sports reporter Zach Braziller, who joins me now. Zach, how's this going for you? I want to start at the top by saying at the top of the season when we talked about this, you said Washington would make the college football playoff. Our guy, Deputy Sports Editor Mark Hale, did not believe in you, but it's happened. Do you have any words for Mr. Hale?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he should pay more attention to my picks moving forward. I mean, clearly I was an expert. I was Nostradamus, and I nailed the Washington pick. I probably deserve a raise. I don't really see any other two ways about it. I'm still waiting on an apology from Mark Hale, so hopefully we'll get one after this video drops. Okay, I'm hoping that happens. You know I'm here for you, Zach. I like that. I also like that you asked for a raise. That's what you should do. So, Mark, you got to get on it. You got to make it happen, Mark. All right, Zach, let's get into it because the college football playoff rankings are done. We have Michigan at number 1, Washington at 2, who you picked, Texas at 3, Alabama at 4. Did the committee get this right with the 4 teams here? 100%. I said it after Alabama won. I thought that would be the 4. I know a lot of people are upset about Florida State. Look, it's not fair. Let's get that out of the way first. It isn't fair. They won all 13 of their games. They challenged themselves to the non-conference. But the bottom line is Florida State was not the same team without Jordan Travis. You saw it where they barely beat 5-7 Florida. You saw it where they barely beat a Louisville team coming off a loss to SEC also ran Kentucky. Florida State is a 13-point underdog to Georgia in the Orange Bowl. Florida State, currently constituted, was not a playoff caliber team. It's not fair, but it's unprecedented. But you know what else is unprecedented? To lose a quarterback, your star player, so late in the season. The only similarity would be 2014 where Ohio State lost J.T. Barrett. Difference, they had Cardale Jones to jump in there to play great in the Big Ten title and prove that Ohio State was still the same team deserving of the playoff. Florida State did not have that player. They did not deserve it. And for everyone who's saying they should have been in and all that stuff, I want to hear from you when it's 35-6 Georgia in the Orange Bowl. Ooh. Because if Florida State would have gotten in and they would have gotten crushed, you'd have heard everyone saying, the committee messed up. Florida State didn't deserve it. You know what? If Florida State goes and is competitive or beats Georgia, I'm going to look like a fool and the committee is going to look dumb. But that's not going to happen. I would be absolutely stunned if it does. They took the 4 best / most deserving teams. You can make the argument Georgia belonged in, only lost, at a 29-game win streak. But I just don't see how you could have taken them after they lose to Alabama and Texas had the win over Alabama. I think the committee got it right, and I think we have 4 teams that are all capable of winning it all.
All right, 4 teams that are capable of winning it all, saying they got it right. But you kind of hit on this with Florida State, and you know this, Zach, from covering sports as long as you have. Some schools and their fans, they're going to be salty. Florida State doesn't make the playoff after an undefeated season in the ACC, as you mentioned. In Georgia, they're bounced after their loss to Bama in the SEC championship game. Do either of these schools, you kind of talked about Florida State, but maybe we'll make more of the case for Georgia. Do either of these schools have a legit reason to be mad about being on the outside looking in?
Yeah, look, I think they both have legit reasons, but this was a unique year. It's a unique year where you have a ton of contenders, you have a ton of teams that were deserving. And look, I mean, Florida State got an incredibly unlucky break when Travis got hurt. But the bottom line is they didn't have anyone behind him that would keep them at that level. And the committee made the right decision. As for Georgia, the problem for Georgia was they didn't really have a great win. Tennessee, not a great win. They didn't have that big win, after losing to Georgia, after losing to Alabama, that really made them deserving of a spot. Look, you got to take Michigan. You got to take Washington, both undefeated teams. Michigan has the win over Ohio State. Washington has 2 wins over Oregon. You can't not take Texas. They beat Alabama. And then Alabama beats Georgia head-to-head. I think the committee got it right. Teams have gripes. There's no doubt about that. Look, we're not going to have that issue next year with 12 teams. This was a very unique, unprecedented season where there's actually more balance than we're used to. And some teams got the short ends.
Yeah, it happens. Some teams got the short end, but, you can always be mad. That happens sometimes. I want to talk to you about Michigan. That's true, Zach. It's true. I want to talk to you about Michigan, right? Number 1 team. They get Alabama as their opponent at the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Are the Crimson Tide a good draw for the top-ranked Wolverines, just for the Wolverines and their fans? Should they be concerned about this matchup?
Yeah, I think Michigan, Florida State was clearly the biggest loser. I think Michigan was the second one. They get the 1 seed, and their reward is Alabama, an Alabama team that just unseeded the 2-time defending national champions, an Alabama team that kind of has like a feel like a team of destiny. They've had 6 games where they've even been tied or trailed at halftime, and they've come back to win. They had the miracle finish against Auburn with the touchdown in the final seconds when it looked like they were going to be knocked out of the contention in the Iron Bowl. Jalen Milroe playing as well as any quarterback in the country. And look, let's be honest, Michigan has not been great of late. They weren't very impressive in the early on against Iowa. Obviously, they get past Ohio State. The games before that, they weren't great. I know they're a 2-point favorite in this game. It feels like an absolute toss-up. And right now, I think Alabama is the team to beat in this playoff.
Wow, Alabama as the team to beat. That's going to make fans of the Crimson Tide very happy there. We'll see how that matchup goes. Last thing for me here, Zach, because we've had a lot of drama around the selections this year. Are you looking forward to less drama next season when the playoff format expands to 12 teams? Or do you think no matter how many teams we have, there's always going to be some drama?
It's not going to be the same. There's no question about it. Arguing about who the 4th team is compared to who the 12th team is, it's apples and oranges. I've long been a proponent of an expanded playoff. More inclusion is better. More teams, on the big stage, to me, helps for balance. But the regular season won't be the same. You had basically elimination games between Michigan, Ohio State, Washington, Oregon, Alabama, Georgia, just incredible theater, and you're not going to get that next year. I wouldn't be surprised if teams who are just playing for seeding late in the year just rest their stars, because it's not – you just want to get in. It's now going to basically be like, the MLB or the NBA playoffs, where all you want is to get in that tournament, and you want to be best prepared once you get there to win. So I think we're going to lose a lot for the regular season. I want to be clear. Expanded playoff is good. It was needed. But the one negative is it takes away a lot from what a lot of people think is the best regular season in sports.
I agree with you on that. We'll see how this all plays out. We'll see how the college football plays out. And I think the committee got it right with the 4 teams that they selected. That is Zach Braziller, New York Post sports reporter, doing a great job covering college sports. Zach, as always, thank you for the time. And Mark Hale knows. He knows where you stand. He knows you make the good picks. He should pay attention to the picks you make, for New Year's Day. He should pay attention to those. He really should.
I agree. Thank you, Dexter.
Nope. Hey, man, just out here trying to help the people. That's all we're trying to do. Just out here trying to help the people. That is it. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.